Hey folks, today's video is going to be on InstaSVG. I'm proud to be affiliated with them, and I think you guys are going to really like this video. This program is awesome. I've been playing about with it quite a lot. Thanks to the guys at InstaSVG, I got some free credits to trial out, and then if I liked it, I could do a video on it and promote it. So I'm going to walk you through some of the stuff that I've done with it, and then show you how I think most people are going to use it. But yeah, it's really good for turning photos into SVGs and logos and stuff. So we'll get started. So what you want to do is you want to log in using the link in the description below. That way InstaSVG can track that you've seen my video and I get a little kickback. So what you want to do once you've logged in via that link is you want to go to dashboard and then studio. Once you're inside the studio, you can see there's different options we start with line art, flat logo, engraving, and then decorative. So over in flat logo is where you'll do like silhouettes, flat like people's logos, and then we've got line art. It's pretty self-explanatory, and it gives you a little image description of what your images will look like. So scrolling down the page, you can see where your videos, your images are. I've just been playing about with some pictures from my friend's wedding, and then some AI prompts on the top there, the Highland cows. This one is my particular favourite. It's actually one of the first ones that I did. Zooming in, you can see that the details within the image are really, really cool. So I think what we're going to do is just test out the AI prompt box. Let's put fast car being chased by a dinosaur. And then I want to have an engraving, so we click classic engraving because that's my favourite so far. And then click generate. Don't need to worry about these when you're doing the prompts. This is real time, so you can see it doesn't take long to process the image at all. Which is a bit of a godsend because sometimes ChatGPT and the other ones take quite a while to generate your prompts, but this one, it doesn't really take long at all. And there you have your design, which is what I asked it to do, and it looks really cool. Let's try the same prompt as flat logo. Let's try a flat logo. Again, it doesn't take long to process it. So it's worth pointing out that every time you hit the generate button, it does cost 1 credit. So make sure that you're happy with what you're asking it to do first. It's not as great, but it is sort of like what we asked for. But we could just hit it again and see if it changes it and see what difference we get. We have all the different options on the left-hand side here that we'll go through once this one's processed. So again, it's very like mechanical looking dinosaur. It's not realistic, I suppose, but if we changed our prompt to say realistic, then it would be. Let's try that. But we have, like I say, on this left-hand side, we have background remover, image restorer, image upscaler, and then your settings, a bit about your pricing, and then a batch studio, which is absolutely fantastic. I'll show you how that works in a minute. Yeah, so it's a bit more rounded and a bit more realistic looking. So, but definitely by playing about, you get a better looking image. Right, so let's go and take a look at Batch Studio. So here, what we do is we choose our files, and I'm just going to choose these 4, and then click Open. Now this will take 4 credits because I'm doing 4 images, and then I'm going to select the classic engraving. I'm not going to keep the background on some of these, and I'm not going to allow colors. So like I say, it's going to take 4 credits to use this, but it saves you individually uploading them, which is fantastic. So I'll work through these. It will take a wee bit longer, so we'll come back once it's done. Okay, so we have the finished articles on each one. which is absolutely fantastic. To be able to batch, upload, and edit within such a small amount of time, I think that took like 2 minutes, which is absolutely fantastic if you ask me. So here's a quick look at the 4 images. I think they look absolutely fantastic, and I think most clients would be really happy with the outcome of this. Okay, so next we're going to take a look at background removal tool, and it's dead simple. It's the same upload. You have a maximum of 5 megabytes so for your image. So we're just going to upload this image and then hit the remove background tool. It doesn't take very long at all. It does take another credit though to edit it, so just be aware of that when you're doing it. This one probably wasn't the best image because it blended the hair with the background, so I tried again. No, it's still doing it. So we might have to tweak that in a separate Photoshop. But yeah, still a nice little feature to have included in the package though. What else have we got down here to check out? The image upscaler. So for this, what we would do is if you've got a particularly low res image that you need to upload, this would be ideal. So for this one, I'm just using the Pepsi logo. It's pretty low res. And then upscale. And there you go. You can see it's a much sharper image all round. And then we can download that. So now what we can do with that is we can go back to Studio. Once we're in Studio, you want to select the flat logo and then flat SVG, and then we upload the file. I don't know what happened here, but my computer sort of glitched out when I was recording it, so it's a bit glitchy. I do apologise for that. So select the low-res image, and you can see why it doesn't work. On the top right-hand side there, it says please use a JPEG, PNG, or web file. It's just not able to read that file. I'm guessing it's because it's too low scale. So what we go and do is we upload the proper image, which I've done, and then go down and hit the convert button. So once it's done its thing, we can see that it's produced a perfect Pepsi logo. Unfortunately, when I was recording this video, my audio did duck out a few times. So I have missed a massive chunk, and plus the footage for the next section cut out. But if you remember back at the beginning when I was showing you the different files, you'll see the file that I'll go on to edit next. I do apologise, but I don't know what happened to my laptop. Joys of technology, I suppose. Okay, so here's the file that I did earlier on InstaSVG. It's fantastic. You can see it's all editable, all the nodes are there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the original logo so we can use that as a reference. So I'm just going to scale it up and then we'll be ready to go. So it's just this bit here that we need to tweak. And to be fair, on the size of this as being engraved for me, I can just go ahead and delete all these. We have all the details. We're not missing anything. And then that is suitable for laser engraving now. What we need to remember when we're using programs like this is it is an AI model, it's not a real graphic designer. So obviously if you had sent this to a real graphic designer, they would have got it spot on first time. That is one thing you need to remember. It's not going to be perfect every time. AI does make mistakes. So now that we have the finished design, I'm going to go ahead and show you the whole reason for using this program to create this logo. A client of mine wants this turned into little tokens that they can use within the shop, kind of like a modern business card, and then also potentially use them as keyrings as well. So I have a shield that I've already at a earlier stage made. So I'm going to bring that shield in, which is this one here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the align tool. So we'll select both of them, and then we'll go up to object, align and distribute, and we'll make sure this says last selected, and then hit the center on vertical axis. So that looks good there. I'm going to drop this down slightly without this being too close to the edge. and then we need to put in a hole for a keyring to go through. So I'm going to make it 3mm up here, and then make sure that padlock's locked, so it's 3mm in all axis, and then I'm going to pop that in probably there. Yeah, and then selecting the logo and the shield itself, I'm going to press duplicate and then bring that across so we've got one of each, just for the customer to have a look at. What I'm going to do though is, so this is a cut path, I'm going to change the background to yellow, select that again, and then press Control and minus. That makes that all the same path. Now we can take away the fill again. So now that that's done, we can transfer this into Lightborn, set it up as you would usually, and then laser engrave it. I'm going to be using the Mira 9S today, which is an absolutely fantastic piece of kit. Right, so now that we've got the logo design into Lightburn, what I've done is I've set up 4 different styles for this logo that it can be used. So we've got this, which will be cut out, this impact onto the shield here, and then I've got like a kiss cut outline so it can be positioned properly, and then I've got 2B tokens there, and a slightly bigger one just to have a look at the engraving quality of the logo itself. That small one is 2cm by 3cm, and this one is, excuse me, 36 wide by 48mm tall. So we'll get this processed on the laser and come back and have a look at the overall finish. So now that it's all cut out, we'll get it lifted out the laser, and then I'm going to show you a quick tip on how to sand the small pieces easily. It's always satisfying lifting them out and seeing it fall onto the bed. Occasionally you do get a bit stuck because maybe they've got an awkward shape on them or whatever, but that's easily popped out. So when you're sanding these little bits, I just tend to pop them back into where they've came from, and then hit them with a orbital sander. I use 120 grit. I don't need to go any higher or lower than that. It just takes off the smoke. And then once that's done, I can go in with a cheap pump and blast all the sawdust out. This is just one of those cheap air pumps that you get for pumping up airbeds and stuff. I find it does really well in getting all the dust out of the nooks and crannies. So for this demonstration, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stain this in this Furniture Clinic wood stain. It's a dark oak. You can get this on Amazon. It'll be in my Amazon shop, which is linked in the description of this video. And it's a really nice dark oak colour, so I'm just going to stain these and then let it dry, and then we'll glue it up and come back. So whilst that's drying, I'm going to give this a quick sand. You can see just how nicely that's stained. It's a nice contrast between the two colours. Now that everything's dry and ready to assemble, I'm going to go ahead and glue these pieces together, and then we'll come back and have a look at the overall finish on it. I think it's going to look really smart, and I think any customer will be very happy to have something like this. So there we have it, the finished article after using InstaSVG and then a little bit of tweaking in Inkscape as well. Using InstaSVG to make this was a doddle. Yeah, I did need to edit it slightly, but like I said before, it is a AI program. Having a look at the wee engravings, you can see the engravings done really well, especially on the Mira 9S. It's fantastic for tiny little engravings like that. Even better if you use the smaller focus point, which is 1.5. I didn't do that on this occasion, but you can see that even with the standard 2-inch lens, it's fantastic quality. Hopefully this Insta SVG video has really helped you have a insight on what you can actually do with the program and things that you can make with it. So make sure to use my link in the description and go check it out yourselves. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this has been helpful. I'll see you in the next one.